we on Startup Central want to celebrate women leaders, those who have made a mark in their respective fields and are doing so much for other women entrepreneurs, as well as when it comes to the investment landscape in the country. And today, one such woman is Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, first-generation entrepreneur. She's a global business leader. She started her biotech journey way back in 1978 from a garage in India and now has grown her company into a pharma behemoth with a market capitalization of over 45,000 crore rupees. Joining in right now is none other than the executive chairperson of Biocon and Biocon Biologics, Ms. Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. Thank you so much for taking time out and being with us today on ET Now. I'd like to start off by just talking a little bit about your journey because it's been ever so inspiring. You know, way back in 1978, women were not even meant to be in the office. They were meant to be in the kitchen. How did you really manage to break out of that mold, start out on your own and begin a biotech company?
Well, I had a pretty unconventional past because, as you know, I actually was a brewmaster who had returned from Australia, wanting to seek a job in India. I found it very difficult to find that job, and therefore, as a result of that inability to get employed, I created my own job, which was really to become an entrepreneur. And I basically decided to venture into this very unexplored field of biotechnology. And since I had studied fermentation science, I was very, very intrigued by the whole field of fermentation based enzymes because the brewing process is a very enzymatic process, and I was very, very intrigued with the concept of enzyme technologies and how enzymes were being applied to many, many industries to replace chemical processes. That's how I ventured into the biotech space, became a startup entrepreneur. It was very difficult those days because India was a very under-resourced country. We were in the midst of a economic crisis, and it was difficult to access capital. It was difficult to basically run a very high-tech business like what I was trying to do. All in all, it's been a very exciting journey because I somehow was learned to be very resourceful. I learned to take on big challenges, and I was willing to basically, pursue uncharted paths. And that's how I basically built Biocon over the years. As you very rightly said, there were very, very few women at the time. So I was a loner in that sense. But it was a very exciting time for me. I was young, I was 25 years old, with this, great sense of can do and wanted to prove myself. So that's the journey I went on in the early days. And of course, I started building on that when I became successful step by step. And I also learned as an entrepreneur that you've just got to uh, reinvent yourself and grab opportunities as they come along. And that's what I did. I pivoted from enzymes to biopharmaceuticals. And then, of course, I pursued the path of biosimilars. I also, decided to develop my own proprietary insulin technology. So it's been a very, very exciting journey for me.
Right, and that is so interesting. And I'm sure there were lots of bumps and challenges along the way. I read that you were, while graduating from a brewing school in Australia, you returned to India and you were in for a very rude shock. Tell us a little bit more about the challenges that you faced along your path.
So, like I said, I was setting up a company, a very high-tech company at a time when India was, very undercapitalized. It was not really a time when startups could get access to any capital, least of all a woman entrepreneur. And so I found it very difficult to access finance, capital, and I struggled a lot to access capital from banks. I mean, in those days, it was just debt-based financing. There was no venture funding. Secondly, of course, as a woman, I found it very difficult to hire people because people didn't want to work for women. So that was another big challenge I had to overcome. But slowly, but surely, I somehow managed to inspire young scientists from IITs, from UDCT, and many other engineering colleges who were willing to work with me and build this very exciting company. So that those were my basic challenges, and of course. Apart from that, no one believed in biotechnology. Marketing these products also was a big challenge because there was no concept of environmental sustainability. Nobody was interested to try out enzymes to have a lower impact on the environment, or try out an eco-friendly technology. It was a very conservative time where people didn't want to change. And I was trying to be a change maker and trying to them to get to use my new technology. So it was tough. But I think I didn't give up. And when people bought into my idea, I think it was very gratifying.
And you're also a prolific angel investor in a number of companies. How is it that you really go about the decision making? What is it that is beneath your choosing process, if I may?
So, being a biotech person, I generally invest in biotech startups. I personally believe biology is the new frontier. I mean, biology now provides very exciting answers to every one of the kind of areas we're focused on. Whether it is, biofuels, whether it is energy storage using, living cells, whether it is biotransformation, which is using use of enzymes in replacing chemical technologies, whether it is synthetic biology that develops, smart proteins, biodegradable materials, smart materials, etc. I think, and of course, biotherapeutics and personalized therapies and precision medicine and cell and gene therapies, everything is very exciting. And I generally tend to kind of invest in companies that are very innovative, uh, companies that come up with very new ideas. And I think in the biotech space, there's a plethora of new ideas. So I'm very excited. I have been an angel investor in many of these very startups, very smart startups. I think the big challenge that all these companies have, like I went through, was to access capital to scale up. I think many of these companies are very exciting, very innovative, but what I worry about is their ability to scale up. Because I think the capital markets are not very friendly towards biotech companies because of the time that they take to get a return on their investment. The biotech sector is over-regulated, in my opinion, and because of regulations, it takes a long time to get from lab to market. And VCs have much shorter exit routes when they invest in digital technologies. In a few years, they're able to really, double their investments and things like that. But in the biotech sector, they have to wait for several years before they see the any kind of return on their investments. That is the big challenge that we have. And we need to create that ecosystem. I think BIRAC, which is the DBT backed venture funding arm or investment arm for startups, has done a great job, providing that seed capital for startups in the biotech sector. But I think the VCs have not done their bit. So the BIRAC should have handed over the baton to the VCs, but the VCs have not really done a great job. So that's where I think we are stuck. And I think the government's recent announcement of the Bio E3 policy for biomanufacturing, I hope, will allow many of these companies to scale up.
Absolutely. And technology today plays a very pivotal role in all sectors and in building a lot of companies. Today, AI has become the buzzword. How are you seeing the role of technology in building companies that will be future ready?
I think that's a very flawed question, if I may say so, because today we are seeing the convergence of technology. So I don't think you can segment technology into digital technology and biotechnology or any other kind of technology. Digital technologies are embedded today in everything we do. I don't think you can basically do research without data science. I don't think you can do manufacturing without having sensors and automation and other forms of technology that help you to basically streamline a process or automate a process or even have real-time data on your process information. So I don't think there is a sort of a distinction between how you use technology. I think technology is integral, and when you talk about technology, I assume you mean digital technologies and information technologies and data science and data analytics and AI and all the usual buzzwords that you use in technology. But I think you must understand that every industry has to embed these new technologies. Just as I would like to, emphasize the fact that today even biosciences and biotechnology is providing so many new solutions to our other unmet needs. So I just feel that there is a convergence of technology today, and I don't think we should be looking at it as compartmentalizing technology.
Right, and the pharma sector as well has been making huge strides. Ms. Shaw, what is, according to you, the next big trend in pharma?
Well, pharma is seeing many, many new breakthroughs in recent times. One, of course, is the very exciting gene editing technologies based on CRISPR-Cas9. And CRISPR technologies are allowing, some very exciting opportunities in gene delivery or gene technologies, where they are basically looking at genetically acquired diseases, and through gene editing are correcting these flawed genes or missing genes. So I think you're looking at very, very interesting ways of looking at these kind of diseases. More apart from that, of course, you've seen the role of mRNA in very rapidly coming out with vaccines and looking at many other aspects of cutting edge therapeutics. You're looking at cell and gene therapies, which are really, really exciting because they are very personalized and they're very targeted, and they basically have a curative effect on very, very challenging cancers for that matter, which otherwise would not give any lease of life to these patients. So I think there's a lot of exciting new science, exciting new therapies. I think immunotherapy is something very exciting because we're just scratching at the surface. The immune system is perhaps the most complicated, system in our living cells, because that's the way we deal with every aspect of our being, and whether it's an infection or whether it is a response to some external factor, the immune system plays such an important role. But what we have now done is we have started understanding how the immune system works. And by tweaking the immune system, we're able to even, get the body to attack cancer cells. We've got the body to, of course, attack autoimmunity and so on and so forth. So I think these are very exciting times as we begin to unravel the secrets of life. Neurological diseases are again another big mystery as to how do we solve these these diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and what have you. And today we are beginning to understand how brain cells work, how synapses work, how cognitive skills disappear because of synaptic loss of connection, etc., etc. And today we are beginning to understand the biochemistry, the electrical impulses that are required to make certain neurological connections. And I think all this is now leading to a very new way of looking at finding therapeutic interventions.
And finally, you have been the recipient of multiple awards, one being the Padma Shri Award. Being where you are, the journey and all that you've accomplished, do you have any advice for young women out there who would like to start off on their own or who are budding entrepreneurs?
No, I just believe that I think biology is the new frontier. I think biotech, entrepreneurs should feel very excited that they're in a very cutting edge area. There's so many unmet needs with a plethora of opportunities. And I just think this is the most exciting time to be an entrepreneur because of the convergence of technologies. And my advice to every entrepreneur is look, there are billions of ideas worth backing. And therefore, the opportunities are limitless. And once you choose an idea, go for it, build it, scale it, and take it to the market.
Wonderful. So nice to speak with you and understand more about your journey, the challenges that you've overcome, and all that you're doing as well to build the investment landscape in the country. Thank you once again.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.